Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessings, blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come one, come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. John.
What's up, Doc? What's up, Doc? What's up?
How are you this evening?
What's going on, Villager?
Yes, join us this evening and let's start the conversation. My God, you haven't been on like early in a long time. Surprise.
Why are you trying to blow me up, Doc? Why are you trying to blow me up, Doc? Why are you trying to blow me up? Y'all don't want me to blow y'all up.
You know what? Cut it out.
Y'all blow me up. All right, Doc. No problem.
I'll feel
What's going
on a little later this evening. So, you know.
What you said?
I said our fearless leader will be on a little later.
So okay.
He'll be on. Listeners, your Roderick Daly will be on. He will be on today. So lots going on. So let me start off. How was your day overall? Good?
My day's good. Just had to deal with some house issues, but day's okay. Thank God. We ain't got no riots in the street, not yet, but we'll see.
Got it. So, yeah. What's going on in New York City? I know today is the actual wake of our formal
Congressman Rangel.
Yeah.
He lied in the city today. I think they're doing the program. His program is this evening.
Yeah, I heard the speech in the beginning, so that's one thing you give.
So I just want to, send condolences to his family, but he was the dean. He was truly the dean of the congressional
Black Caucus.
Yeah, no, he was the dean of the congressional of Congress. Members of Congress. He was the dean. He was extremely powerful. He was the chair of the Ways and Means. He was a very powerful individual. He did a lot for Harlem. Did a lot for New York City. A lot for New York State.
Yeah.
We just want to pay him his respect, and his legacy will continue upon. Look at Harlem, and the transformation that he has taken place. Adriana Espaillat took his position. Espaillat's doing a great job up there. So, kudos to Harlemites.
Yeah, he laid the foundation, and we continue to build from what he laid down,
Correct.
Which is awesome.
That's what we have to continue to build.
Listen, what is happening around? It feels as though there's literally a civil war happening in the United States. What is happening with your president? What's going
Everybody talks about what's happening to the president. What's happening to us.
for the
Remember,
country?
he's in there. He's in the office because he won. He won. This is what he said he's going to do, and we have to deal with it. If we didn't want to deal with it, people should have came out and voted. But this is the cards we have been dealt, so we have to deal with it. I have no problem, peaceful demonstration. But when you start destroying neighborhoods, you're throwing, you know, uh, rocks and stuff, and at you know law enforcement, we don't need to do all that. We talk about the what happened on January 6th, and the way we we called out those who were involved in January 6th. So we don't want to we don't want to be we don't want to be compared to them. So our right is, I mean, if we got the tension and what's going on in the ice, definitely let's do things peaceful. Let's do things peaceful. Let's get out there. The way they think. The way if you look at the civil rights movement, they chose not to get violent. So we don't need to get violent. We just got to get out there. We got to, you know, one of the most powerful things that we do have is the power of our pocket, our purse. So we need to boycott. Stop spending money.
Like
Stop
they're doing with
literally spending money. If you're concerned about what's the immigrants, you're concerned about what's going on with them, stop spending your money. Boycott. You know what I'm
boycott what?
saying?
Boycott what?
What boycott those corporations that support President Trump. Like you see what happened to Target with the DEI and all the other things. Everybody talks about Jeff Bezos and Amazon. Stop ordering shit on Amazon. Stop it. Go to the store and buy your stuff. Stop ordering stuff. If you want to be effective in what you do, stop spending your money. If you want to, go to spend it in minority communities, Black, Hispanic, whatever it is. If that's what you want to do, we talk a good game, but we get on the computer, we get on this, we order that. We're full of crap. We don't know about no struggle. We don't want to we don't want to get no struggle, because after a couple of days or whatever, we get all tired. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So we got to be in it for the long. If you really want to do something, stop spending your money. What's up, Andre?
Hey, Andre. Listen,
What's good? What's good? How we doing?
listen.
I definitely can agree with that though about the boycotting, and I think one of the best boycotts that I've read through history is just the Montgomery bus boycott. People came together and they were willing to be together for the whole year until what they needed was given. So
Change was made.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. Um, so yeah, so how's everything otherwise, man? How's the week going? How we feeling?
Um. Okay. Okay. But I'm a little disturbed because my country was identified as a terrorist location, and we are not a terrorist location. So
So,
that
Doc,
makes
let me say what's going on in Haiti, man. What's happening there? What's going on? What is actually going on, and what can we do to? I mean, what's going on?
well, I'll say this: a lot of the weapons that currently is in Haiti, it comes from the United States, from Miami straight to Haiti. So people were dumping and sending all types of military and army gear type things to Haiti for the gangs. So unfortunately, a lot of the individuals who can't defend themselves, they're robbed, they're killed. Unfortunately, I don't have a country no more. That's how I feel like. There's no country, and it's
So let me
sad.
hold on, Doc. Hold on. If
Mhm.
you're saying you have no country, so then if you have no country, so why would you be upset that he put your country on the whatchamacallit since you don't have no country?
Because it identifies people who come from there as a terrorist. It labels us as part of that, and we're not part of that. So you're grouping a whole set of people to say, hey, this is what they fall under, when it's not true. So what do you have to say about that, Mr. Sampson?
What I have to say about that is we need to do something about it again. If we're so concerned about the way they characterize our countries and stuff like that, this is the man that our people put him in office. Our people, because some of our African American Caribbean people voted for this man.
So now you're trying to say that people should wait around for another
What
4
you
months.
said?
Just wait to vote again. Is that it? I hear
You know what? And you know what? Nobody's saying to wait to vote. Okay, fine. One, you don't have to wait. You got the midterms elections coming next year. You got the municipal elections coming in this year. People need to get out there and vote.
Local elections,
The
man.
24th. Early voting is starting this Saturday. Get out and vote. Change the narrative by being involved. I was just, I looked at the governor's race in New Jersey. I was surprised. I thought more people would come out and vote.
Yeah, no, that. What was the?
I don't even know if 1 million people came out to vote in New Jersey. I don't know. Maybe you can find out, Andre.
What was it again?
The governor.
We are so lethargic when it comes to voting because all politics is local. I keep telling everybody, all politics is local.
I agree. Like that's the major. That's where major change happened. As the people close to home there too. Let me see. Okay, so Mike Sherrill wins the Democratic Party, and what I'm looking at here, Mickey rather, or Mikey, 33.9% of the votes she got was 271,000 plus. Ras Baraka got 163,000 plus, almost 164. Steve Phillip got 127. Josh Gottheimer got 94,000. Altogether, it was 799,000 votes.
How many?
799,901 votes.
And how many registered voters they have in New Jersey?
Let me see.
So, thinking about it, like you said, on the 14th, early voting starts for a lot of things. We have one coming up, Brooklyn Borough President. We start, because I live in Brooklyn. Let's do that. Council people coming up. So come on. Let's do it. Let's do it. But anyway, let's digress. A lot's going on besides that. But this is troubling in regards to the classification and identification of the countries are mainly a lot of blacks and countries from
I can't hear you. Can I speak up, Doc? I can't hear you.
I said a lot of the countries that was identified, Muslims, blacks, that's a problem. We are not all, about harming other countries. So that,
And what's funny? You talk about the Muslim countries and the Muslim community. I think it was in Michigan or whatever it is. They didn't vote for Biden. Either they voted for Trump or they didn't vote for Biden, which helped Trump anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, it is.
I guess I'm just. We need to just wake up, man. We keep talking about this shit all the time. It's the same thing happens over and over again, and then everybody bitches and moans about what Trump's doing. He told us what he was gonna do.
But we're going backwards. I feel like we're going backwards instead of moving forward.
So side note, just to compare, right? We had, as I said, it was 799,901 votes went in, but total registered in Jersey as of this month is 6.5 million. Right? So
crazy.
5,000. Yeah,
You see that?
yeah, that's insane. It's insane.
You see that?
You know, I mean, so why is it? Like, and I think maybe this is also a reason that we've discussed before. But what is it that makes people don't even want to go out and vote? You know,
People
I think
focus on the presidential election more than anything else and not realizing that before you get to the presidential election, the little, municipal, like you mentioned,
mhm.
are the ones that lead to that.
True, true. And so it's also about promotion, how media does it too, because as soon as it start getting close to the national elections, you have every media on it. Versus when it comes to local, you don't have that much media there. You know, it's like you do the you do the work yourself as a citizen. Um, when it comes to national, the media is just doing all of that for you. All right. But I've said there's no need to complain about Trump. I mean, we
Yes,
hear the
someone
complaints all the
done
time.
said. Mm-hmm.
And I can agree. Like, complain about Trump. That's what
Listen,
people do. You know,
that's
against
all
certain.
people do. They complain about him. And shoot.
what I'm complaining about is the tariffs. That is hitting home. That is hitting home, and I have a problem with it.
I mean, he's gonna resume. Tariff's gonna be resume on what, next
I
month?
heard they came out with a deal. They were talking about him and China came to some kind of
Yeah,
resolution.
it didn't really fully come through. But let me see.
That the US and China recently finalized their trade deal at
Yeah,
reducing tariffs and boosting the economic cooperation. Huh. It addressed intellectual properties, technology transfer, and market access, which been a long-standing point of contention between the two countries.
yeah.
So, how does that affect us?
Let me look at this real
I
quick.
guess
And
more so our products that come across them, the high tariffs that they put on our products. So hopefully we'll be able to, in those countries, it'll be a little less than what it is now.
because originally China was like, hey, you can't do anything with anything coming from the United States. So
Yeah, but
now,
I think that they're going to change that sort of narrative once this thing gets signed. But then all the other countries that we had no tariffs on them and they had tariffs on our products. So if he lays it out like that, that's a win-win situation for us in America. Uh, However, we are we're being hit now.
mhm,
It's just incredible.
yeah, especially transferring anything from international, going tripling the amount that it costs, which is, you don't think about it. Like a lot of people send clothes or dooms and things like that back
Mhm.
home or wherever. The price, you won't be able to send anything because the
Nope, not
price
at all.
now, it's like, I don't know. And people aren't spending that much. They're afraid.
And I mean, the other thing too, really, and that's why one of the things Trump wants is for the Fed to lower interest rate, which, the Fed, they're worried about inflation going back up, because if that goes back up, it's going to even be more difficult, because now it's going to increase interest rates and people going to be in, much
Well, I
more.
hope that I hope they do knock down these interest rates. That'd be definitely be very helpful because there's
I
a lot of
mean,
people trying to buy homes or whatever it is. They can't. Interest rates are just too high.
if people stop spending, and it would go down. So it's like you have to
But
stop
people,
spending for it to go
but
down,
believe
but
it or not,
you need
people
to
are
spend.
stopping. They're
Yeah,
not. They're
yeah,
not spending as much as they thought.
yeah. No, they are, because the the consumer price data came out showing that it went down like to what, 0.3% month over month last month. So, but I mean, the Fed's still waiting on more data to come through. So it's a wait and see game. Wait and see game. They're very, very close. And to want to get to 2%, and they wanna see inflation at 2% rather. It's two
Mm.
point three percent right now. So it's just like a wait and see game. So mean, people still gotta spend, so and then the tariffs coming back in July, according to Trump, the tariffs will be on pause. I mean, it's just gotta see. The market is just so scared and uncertain, but market's still gonna move how it's still gonna move. So that's what's happening right there. I think people should still be mindful how you spend. Consider you invest in the same way, and don't invest in something you're not sure about. That's pretty much it.
I get it. I get it. A lot of sad news. Anything fun happening?
Well, I was just giving awards to my students, and uh, they got the A-grade awards. So
Okay.
that's some fun news right there. And
Yeah. Moving forward.
it's
Yeah.
also always weird when I go up on stage and call the names and have to kind of like explain a little bit about it, or like academic excellence, and explain a little bit of what the kid had done throughout the school year to really get that art.
It's the graduation time of the year, man. These are one of the best times of the year.
Yeah, so they've been rehearsing, and they've been really going in. And today they had a high energy with the song they had to sing and all that. So that was good. That was good. I was dozing for a moment, and then like, we made it, and then going. I was like, all right. I wake up. I was like, okay, good job. So
That's always a good thing. Yeah. The success at the end of all the hard work is worth it. It's really, really worth it. So hopefully, that we need more of that, more positivity.
Yeah.
Because life is going to continue lifing, but we need to move forward in regards to that. So, any news in regards to the governor testifying? I want the wonderful bill that I'm paying every time I go to the city to come to an end. You might disagree, but I don't want to pay every time I go to New York City.
You mean the congestion pricing tax?
I want it to stop.
That's the regressive tax. They always, we're the ones always got to pay it. Regressive, definitely.
And so hopefully.
So who you want? Who you want to do? What governor? Hochul?
Yes.
Oh, tonight is the debate. We missed that tonight. Mayoral debate.
The final debate. The
Yes.
mayor. Yeah, the final debate of all. So you know what? What I have to say in regards to thinking about the debate, thinking about everything that's transpiring or whatever, what is scary. I hate going back to scary things, but what's scary is, hey, summertime is coming up.
Right.
ISIS coming around more and more frequently. Young people are getting involved more and more. I am happy that young people, they're pulling young folks. Unfortunately, ISIS taking young folks. But what I am happy about is the judge mentioned that they have to let the young man who was protesting go. They have to release him. So that is good news that, hey, it's okay for you to have your opinion. It's okay to feel a certain way, to say certain things, but coming to a point where you cannot say anything and pushing fear everywhere you go, and judges signing along with that, that's a problem. But for some of the judges to actually advocate and say, no, you are breaking the law. It's good to see that now. Some
due process. The due process.
Well, I think some people ignore the due process, to be honest with you.
I agree with you.
Recently, a lot
Hey, it's interesting. Also, you see Terry Moran from ABC got fired.
Yeah.
Did he renew his contract after that comment he made on X about Stephen Miller, which I believe is definitely true. Stephen Miller's just a hater of the worst kind.
But you know what? Nowadays, whatever you say is held, is used against you.
So you might as well say all you gotta say.
You're so stupid. What you say will be held against you, and it's going to be used in a way that hey, it might put you in a box, unfortunately.
Right.
That's the problem. That is the problem. So I was so happy to see that the judge stood, took a side, took a stand, and said, okay, enough is enough is enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen, if you believe in something, stand for it. That's it. That's it.
Otherwise, you'll fall.
Listen, you fall for everything. Don't be the yes crew just because. Don't be the yes crew. Have your own opinion, have your own. Because at the end of the day, when you're there alone in front of the judge and you have to say what you stand for, you there on your own.
It's true.
Word stand for something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
On the other note, that itself, even just kind of like trying to defend one's own opinions. I mean, Elon Musk try to
They're making
defend.
up. I heard they're making up. Is that true?
That's
No,
what did. Well, yeah. I
he
mean, he said he
regrets it.
regrets. I know y'all spoke about it a little bit last week, but here he talks about he regrets some of what he said. They had been too harsh or controversial. So still wanted to be harsh, but it was too harsh.
Do you think he's saying that because he's worried about his contracts getting cut?
Yeah, I think
Worried about what?
His
contracts.
contracts
Yeah, I
being
think there's
eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, it's all business. It's a business decision, I believe. And also he was worried about Elon Musk's ego, the access that he had by just being friends, pals with the president of the United States, being able to walk into any building that he wanted to walk in, federal building. Elon Musk, that's a friend of the president. We have to pay him attention. He misses that.
Oh, ego?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we knew it was going to be short lived. When you have two people who have big egos,
yeah.
one is going to knock the other out.
I didn't think it was gonna come so soon though.
The honeymoon came to
Yeah.
an end.
Yeah, I mean everybody knew it was gonna come to an end. Everybody had their timeline. I thought it was gonna probably happen early next year. And that thing came quick as it
Honeymoon period, right?
huh?
The honeymoon period.
Yeah. And it was that big beautiful bill.
The big beautiful bill.
Because I mean, and I think if people listening to what Elon was saying, how the stuff in the bill is gonna hurt the little people, right? The little guys, like a lot of us. If you really look at that and say yes, that is true, and not really think like, wait a minute, he's also worried about his own business, the clean energy, electric car, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans ain't really for that for the most part. So him trying to come at Trump, I mean, as if that's going to really sway. It's an ego battle. Trump
Yeah.
said, listen, boss, if you support any of them Democrats, watch me and you gonna jump into this fight, man. Like, I think it was
But why is he afraid of that?
for the
I
the,
guess
the
the way his money, Elon Musk is willing to spend his money. He's
yeah,
willing to spend a lot of it too, and that makes them spend a lot of their money.
good night, Janice.
Because if he decides to give everybody in Republican in Congress a race or pay them, they don't want that.
Exactly. So you know, I mean, the reality is
It
that
would
if
be a
he was,
great thing if he decided to do that. But I think he's too afraid to.
to support Democrats,
I think he's afraid
Nah,
to.
I don't think a man who has money like that, he's not afraid.
yeah, I
He
think
doesn't
even
care.
if he was
So
supposed to
Banner
support
said they should
Democrats, he probably would
deport
have get a
him.
lot more for especially for Tesla, because Democrats are more for clean, the EV and clean energy. So
But you know what? Bannon said they should deport him.
They should
So
support who?
they should deport Elon Musk.
what?
He
They
mentioned
support who?
Deport Elon
deport
Musk?
him. Yes, he did say that last week. He did.
Who
I
said that?
didn't.
Trump?
Bannon, his other lover man that
Oh
he's
yeah. You know why? You know that's an ego with Bandit because he realized Elon Musk got all the attention. You know, Bandit wants that attention too. You know,
Oh man.
So I thought
everybody wants Donald Trump's attention, and they're going to get it the best way they can by creating chaos.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
I'm
it's
telling you,
all
man.
good. It's all good. At the end of the day, it is all good.
It's quite something.
Eventually, when you start feeling it on your end, because many times when they were making cuts, they didn't think
Mhm.
about the people that it affected. They didn't
nope,
think
they
about
didn't.
Social Security. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hey, good night, Janice. It didn't matter. So now when you actually start feeling, when it happens to you, that's when you realize, oh, okay, about the little people. But otherwise, it doesn't matter. So c'est la vie. C'est la vie.
Mm. Um, and then the other topic, what do you think about Speaker Johnson distinction between January 6th and LA protests? He said the LA protests were more peaceful than the
January 6th.
overthrow on January 6th. What do you think of what he said?
LA protest was more peaceful, right?
Yeah, it's a larger peaceful demonstrations. And so the statement itself stirred political debate. Critics accuse him of minimizing the violence of January 6th, misrepresenting peaceful protests, and it highlights the growing polarization of over how protests and political dissent are viewed across different political groups.
Wait, he said January 6th was more peaceful? The
Large
people.
Who said that?
Wait, the people
Bondi?
from.
Speaker Johnson,
But
uh,
Who?
they're suing now.
Who
House
said
Speaker,
that?
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson's full of shit. We all know that. Come on, he's the president's lapdog. Give me a break.
Oh man. So
So
the question here, how the rhetoric around protest and violence influence public perception of political events like January 6th and social justice protests. I mean, what people see and how the media is, especially how the media speaks about it too, right? Because I do remember when I think there was some a group of black people really decided they were gonna go up to Washington too, and they were met with the challenge like, nope, you ain't entering, we ain't about to do that. It was
but
just
now they're
so,
suing. They're
yeah,
suing the government to say that they were unjust. They were discriminated against.
yeah. So
Not that they attack or they broke or they hurt people. No, they were discriminated against. They
mhm,
feel empowered because they were released. And now they want to get paid for spending time
yeah,
for criminal activities that they committed. But one person didn't think it was criminal activities. It was the peaceful
yeah.
individual. So yeah, enough. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. C'est la vie. C'est la vie.
did you did you all see or read about the crash, the air in their crash, the Boeing
Yeah.
crash?
Yeah, man. One person survived, and he
That's
walked out of there.
That's
One
crazy.
that's
person.
You know,
that is something. That's a miracle. A
yeah,
complete miracle.
and there was another. It's a Boeing plane, right?
So
Yeah,
it's
Boeing just. I don't know, man. Boeing, this is just one thing I don't understand with Boeing. Like every minute, and keep getting like government funding there. This came when they had to pay up some money for like, oh man, I'm trying to like remember exactly what was said there. Um, I'm gonna look it up. But I'm all when these crashes happen, so much it's with the Boeing planes, right? And it's just sad, man. It's just
but
sad.
you know what? Definitely praying for the people in India because it's not only them, it's people from all over Europe and Canada that was affected by the plane crash today. So condolences to the people who were impacted by that crash. It's very, very
Yeah.
unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
And one person survived, as John said. Yeah, that's
we need some more positive things happening, because at the end of the day, we have a long list of negative things happening day in and day out, and it is time. Summertime is coming up, and we need to keep it moving. I know Roderick right now is, what is he doing? Baseball field, coaching, and things like that. So that is fun. That's what I look forward to. Competitions and things like that. The sad things must come to an end. So as the summer is starting out and kicking off, please, I beg people, if something fun is happening, something positive is happening, spread that, because we have too many negative things happening throughout the day. Well, I know one fun thing happening this weekend. Father's Day for all the wonderful dads out there. You're muted, John.
Happy Father's Day to the great dads,
Yes.
Also, Dr. Ryan's birthday was on Father's Day this year.
Wish her happy Father's Day too, and happy birthday as well.
You said happy Father's Day to me? I am not a man.
Oh gosh. No, just joking with it. But no, for real though, happy Father's Day to the great fathers, and happy birthday, Joanne. When your birthday comes. So
yeah.
So our guest is here. I'll just run.
Let's bring him on.
Right. I'm gonna run the commercial first. Tameek, or when you're ready, you thumbs up. Let me know you're ready. Just thumbs up, Meek.
He's not ready yet.
Right,
okay, so you could bring the commercial on, and by that time, we'll be ready.
By the time I play the commercial and all, you will be ready. Hold on a second.
Perfect celebration. Yeah, I need to go somewhere. You know what? I need to go to some event this weekend. I do. I need some music in my life.
You're about to get some in 3, 2, 1.
Footprints Cafes now offers Caribbean flatbreads, available in 11 mouth-watering flavors, including favorites like jerk chicken, curry chicken, honey garlic chicken or shrimp, ackee and saltfish, garlic cheese, and more. Our flatbreads are satisfying and can be enjoyed by the entire family. So make it a flatbread night at Footprints and enjoy the fusion of flavors. These flatbreads are so good, you might just have to fight for that last piece. Good thing there's plenty more where that came from. Get yours today from any of our Footprints locations. Want to enjoy your flatbread at home? Then order on Uber Eats and get it delivered right to your door. We'll see you there.
No, I'm gonna leave it there.
Call Howard Housing Solution today for all your real estate needs. Sellers, we can get top dollar for your home, and our vast network of professionals can facilitate your move and help you purchase your dream home in another state. Buyers, we have a pulse on the market and can get you in a home quickly. Property owners, we can manage your property efficiently and allow you peace of mind. So why wait? Call Howard Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560 for your sale, purchase, or property management needs. Conveniently located in East New York, Brooklyn. You can come to us at 577 New Lots Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, or we can visit in the comfort of your home. Call Howard's Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560. Howard Housing Solutions. Real estate simplified.
Want to get your personal income tax, business corporate tax, self-employment tax, quarterly tax, payroll tax, or sales tax filing done professionally?
Yeah.
Call U.S. Bureau LLC 718-676-0519 and take the worry out of your personal and business life. Tax compliance issues should be left to the pros. So when you want your business to grow, call the pros, because a successful business matters. U.S. Bureau LLC also handles accounting, bookkeeping, business startups, consultation, real estate, and many more services. Call U.S. Spirit LLC 718-676-0519 and ask for Howard DaCosta, CEO, to book a 1-hour evaluation at no cost to you. Take remote control of all your needs and U.S. Spirit LLC will follow your lead. Want to work but don't have a social security number?
Yes!
Find out about getting a tax ID to pay your taxes. Call U.S. Spirit LLC or log on to www.usspirit.com. Team up for success.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. So, our guest is on. You're good? Okay. Our guest is on. This evening we have Mr. Meek on, and actually, I don't think I'm going to do justice. So, Meek, I'm going to throw the mic at you. Please introduce yourself to our listeners because I won't do justice introducing you.
Oh man, you gonna put the pressure on me now? Put the pressure on me. First of all, good evening, everybody.
Good.
I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity to come on your platform and to just tell my story. My name is Tameek Floyd. I would say to date, my biggest accolades is being a youth mentor. Outside of that, I'm the CEO of a sports and entertainment company called Three Keys Inc. And I'm also a principal member of a development firm called GFB Development. So I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I have the wonderful opportunity of I actually witnessed the work that he's done. So that's the great thing. We're going to start with mentoring. What
Okay.
actually got you into mentoring?
Um, I had to go through something to learn the importance of mentorship. Growing up, the average city kid growing up in a project, single parent. I didn't have many role models. A lot of the older guys from in my neighborhood, they was drug dealers. So there really wasn't somebody that I should be, observing. But that was in my surroundings with guys like that. So outside of that, I found a love for basketball. So basketball was something that really kept me away from the streets, right? It kept me structured. And my mother was working 2 jobs, single parent, so she needed somewhere for me and my brother. So she put us in a lot of after school programs. And me growing up, a lot of the programs was based around sports. So I took a love for the game. So I really played the sport. I got really good at it to where I was all city in high school, and I wound up getting a city chip in 2004. And then eventually I led to getting an athletic scholarship to go to school, right? So me, I thought I was on my way. I still was kind of rough around the edges. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of mentors growing up. I didn't know how to deal with adversity. So my junior year in college is like when I really dealt with a lot of adversity, and I wound up losing my scholarship. And then I want to say within maybe 10 months of that, I was in somebody's institution for the next decade. So at that moment, I understood like I needed a mentor to keep me on the right path, right? To reinforce the things my mother was telling me. And at that moment, that's when I decided to become a mentor. So during my incarceration, I became a mentor to a lot of the younger inmates that was coming through the system.
You know what? That's powerful. First of all, I commend you for sharing your story because so many young people need to hear what you went through and we learn from others. Many times it says that we go through experience, not for us, but for others. And to come back and to mentor the young folks in your community, around the community, and all over, that's powerful.
Yeah, the work started inside, right? I couldn't even think of Phantom how I was able to do a decade in prison being a college athlete. I had the world at my feet, right? I had a lot of structure to go into an institution where people got to tell you when you can eat, when you can use the restroom, restricted movement. You couldn't see your loved ones, so it was definitely a culture shock. But basketball and being a mentor really kept me out the way of a lot of altercations, and it really got me through my incarceration. Just taking, and the young guys is you're just like you're looking at me as a big brother and somebody that just lived it and not just saying it. There's a difference. Like as a kid, I really didn't pay attention to somebody who was telling me something if they didn't physically go through it. So me that I physically went through it. A lot of these younger guys, that's appealing to them, but then I showed them the powerfulness of reinventing yourself, right? So I came home and I never looked back. I basically, until this day, I'm just rewriting my narrative, right? So I came home and I was blessed to have an opportunity to work for my best friend's non-for-profit, Taj Gibson. He's a 16-year NBA veteran from Brooklyn, so that's my childhood friend. He gave me the opportunity to work on this non-for-profit, and that really helped me, continue on being a mentor, but also rewriting my narrative.
Would you say that he himself was sort of like a mentor for you, or did you have like others who were mentoring you as you kind of reflect and became a mentor for the youth that help?
I I think he, even though we're the same age, I don't think you could put a age to being a mentor. I feel
Mm,
like players could really be a mentor to one another, and I would say in a lot of ways he was a mentor because of the consistency, right, of being dedicated, and I seen how hard he worked in his craft, but really more so of how much of a friend he was to me because during my incarceration, he was a presence in my life. Like he would come see me every year. So
mm,
you have a guy that's a multimillionaire that could be anywhere in the world, but he takes 2 hours, during the summer out of his day to come sit in a tiny jail cell. I mean, a visitor room to be scrutinized and searched just to see me. So like things like that motivated me, right? And so I would say a lot of his attributes was like some of a mentor.
gotcha.
Yeah, that's something. That is something. Um, I know little boys tend to but not little boys, but boys tend to stick with you. And that's a great thing because we want to steer them into going into the right direction, and especially with basketball. How do you use basketball to
So
um to guide them?
growing up, a lot of kids, once again, from our communities, I wouldn't say unfortunately, but we just gravitate towards basketball and entertainment mainly like rapping. So I just knew what basketball did for me, right? A lot of the principles that has developed in the sport, it helped me navigate a lot of things in my life, and I really apply it every day. So my whole purpose is not really trying to train these. So I have a sports mentorship program. We are vendor with the DOE, and my program is not to teach these kids like to turn them pro or try to get them to go to the NBA. It's more so having them abstract the disciplines that's developed in basketball that they can apply to their everyday life. Like kids just have a hard time working together, so being in playing basketball is a team sport, so you have to work together, right? Or a lot of kids have a hard time following instructions, right, with authority. So these are the things that you learn in basketball. So I just try to help these kids understand that so they could like navigate a lot of problems and issues that I had growing up, and I didn't really know how to deal with it.
So Floyd, where's most of your foundation or the work that you do central? Is it throughout the five boroughs or in one borough?
So with Taj's non for profit is out the borough. It's 5 boroughs. We for through Taj been he started this foundation during my incarceration, and I just came home. I've been home 5 years now. I just picked up, I just added my little my little spaz to it. But we've been doing this for so many years, and we've been like connecting with not just student athletes, but I don't like to call them at risk, but just kids that just need a big brother, right? Kids that are inspired by somebody like Taj, and he's just so accessible to the kids. Like when they see him, they don't even get starstruck because they always used to seeing him, and we love that, right? So at first we just started in Fort Greene, that's where I'm from, but through the years we expanded to we work in all boroughs because it's kids not just in Fort Greene that need help, kids all over need help. So and um, we really care about the kids, so we definitely all over.
So that I can vouch for because this man has worked countlessly with just checking into the boys, speaking life into them. Your hard hit boys, too tough to,
Yeah.
cry. They tend to soften up around him. So which we love because the thing is it's done with love. And they're seeing male love that maybe they've never seen before, or they don't have a dad or a big brother or something. So to step into that role, that takes someone special to say, hey, I understand, I walked in your shoes before, I was you when I was growing up. I lived that life. So if you continue this path, then this might be the result. But if you change up a little,
Like
see something more.
I don't mean to cut you off, but it's important for me to show my face. Like, yes, I'm busy. I do so many different things, right? But I just think it's so important for me to, like, once the program is done, to still have a presence, like with the
Hmm.
boys. I think I was there maybe like 2 weeks ago at the school. So, and it's good because they see me and they see somebody like them, right? They see somebody that grew up like them, and they see that somebody like them could be successful, right? Unfortunately, a lot of kids, we just see a lot of negativity and we just think that's what it is. But I want to show them something else. I want to show them something different. So being a black man and having my own sports agency, and I was just as impacted the last 6 years. I was in somebody's cell. So to be home, and to have my own business in a field that I love, I think is an amazing thing for young boys to see.
How difficult was it to start a sport agency?
Um, In my case, I wouldn't say it was that difficult because, like I said, my best friend was in the NBA for so long. He's been 16 years. So we have all the relationships, but it was probably more so me just like believing in myself that I could get it done.
Self
So like,
confidence.
yeah, it was like, can a ex-con really have his own company? I used to doubt myself a lot, when I came home, and I just had to, overcome that fear of like, I am good enough, because I know I really care and I have a great work ethic and I know how to network. So just having those skills and having the relationships that I have, and just creating my own lane. I wouldn't say it was that hard to create it. Now to like thrive, that's another thing, right? To keep it going and hopefully be around for the next 10 years, that's a tough thing. But for me to start it, it wasn't too hard for me.
That's interesting. Interesting.
So when
Now,
you what type of help do you get from the Board of Education to or community, other communities? Because I know you have the foundation, but at the same time, you also need other supporting institutions to help make sure this dream, not dream, uh, this continues. So we hopefully continues in perpetuity.
Yeah, well, this was our second year with the Board of Ed DOE. So obviously we would love to continue that and expand in other schools. But and the foundation is the foundation is my staple. That's what grounded me, and that's what really pushed me to be in the position I am right now. So that always going to be near and dear to me. But I think for me personally, lately I've been more you know, on with the entrepreneurial spirit, right, and like really diving into my businesses because I love being a mentor and I love the community, but I also want to be successful too. I think I owe it to myself to like really test to see if I have what it takes to be to be a guy that's very successful, having several businesses from where I came from. So at this moment, that's like my focus. But I always find time to like check in with the kids.
hmm, hmm.
So how many kids do you have in the who partake in the foundation?
Um, I don't have a number, but for the kids, for my mentorship program through my sports company, I would say the most we probably had like 20 kids. And it's like, so one funny story. My first school we worked at was uh, years ago, it was called Eastern District. I forgot the name now. It's like three different
Eastern
schools.
District High School. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So I went there before my sophomore year in high school. I went there because I went to a school in Manhattan. Then World Trade happened. My mother was like, you got to go. You got to come to Brooklyn." So, but I wound up. That was the first school that I got my program into, and it was a young lady that I met. She wasn't into sports, but she just was curious about the program, and it was so dope because now so we just built a real bond with her. And I didn't mention that I'm a licensed realtor. So, these are certain things I was just throwing at her, me and my coworkers, and she wound up becoming a realtor. And I seen her a couple months at a networking event, and she was there. So it'd be stories like that to let me know that I'm doing the right thing, right? But to go back to your question, I really don't have the number with the foundation because we touch so many kids throughout New York City that love playing basketball. Like most of the time, we'll have sports clinics, and there be kids from all over, kids from Dykeman, kids from the Bronx, Harlem, you know. So we always just like, obviously we hoop, we love the hoop. So anybody that want to hoop, we going to embrace them.
So it doesn't matter if it's a girl.
So do y'all guys
No,
do you get involved in these other, like, uh, like AAUs, to
see
create
now
a synergy?
that's a whole nother beast right now, John. AAU, I don't think we have the bandwidth for AAU. The climate to me personally is just too much. And then obviously me having a sports agency, it just like I feel like that's not me working smart, it's me working hard to have both. But you know, at a time we did think about it, but there's so many teams in New York, and the kids, compared to when I was young, they just jump ship so fast. So it's like it's hard to like find a core group and really come up with them because you know, one week a kid would be playing with Riverside, and next week a kid would be playing with Gauchos. The week after that, he'd be playing with the Wrens. So I just don't want to touch. I wouldn't want to touch the AAU. It's just too much.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you still didn't answer my question. The
Oh,
girls,
what
you
was that?
know, we got
Oh yes,
games.
no, we don't discriminate. We don't discriminate. We don't discriminate. You know, because like I said, it's not about
That's true.
us trying to prepare a young woman, a young girl to go to the WNBA. We just want her to.
Hey, we don't have a problem if
There's nothing wrong with
actually
that.
the
She could,
Liberty
yeah,
is
no,
performing. So
listen, Liberty to my team. If she, you know, but my thing is that the biggest thing is building a real relationship, right? And
that's true.
her helping these young men and women, I mean, young boys and girls to like really prosper in life. Because a lot of them don't have fathers, a lot of them don't have father figures, and it shows. And it, you know, so like, and I see it within a lot of kids that's in the program. When we were in the DOE, and it's just alarming. You know, I feel bad for a lot of these kids, you know, because I just know like they're not set up to succeed. So any way I could help them, you know, and help them become better, right, and give them a better shot of succeeding, I think I did my job.
Okay.
That's all you do, man. Just give them an opportunity, man. Just shows them the ways of the world. A lot of people don't invest the time and the effort, but organizations like you're involved in the foundation and Taj Gibson Foundation, you're giving these kids another opportunity at another shot. So which is sometimes you don't get another shot.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, but
right.
when you get that shot, it's just like Jamie Foxx was saying. On BET, he just talked about his mental episode that he went through, and he spoke to God and said, "God, just give me that one more shot, man. Just give me that one more shot and make a difference." And what you're
Absolutely
giving these
right.
kids are, the foundation. You're giving them a shot. You're giving them opportunity. Just because you may be born or live in poverty does not mean you have to stay in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's powerful because a lot of us feel like that's just all it is, right? And basketball showed me that it's more to this world than just Fort Greene projects. Growing up, that's all I knew and cared about was Fort Greene projects. But basketball showed me and Taj and a couple of my friends that it's more to life. So we just try to bring the things that we've seen from like being blessed to travel the world and to see other cultures, and we just try to like bring that to help change some of these kids' outlooks because a lot of these kids, they only know the four corners of a block. They don't know,
Yeah, they never got off the block. Never got off the
yeah.
block.
I know guys that I grew up with that never got off the block. They went to the local high
Only
school,
time, only time they get off the block is when they're going upstate.
yeah, yeah. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. You don't know anybody.
Shit,
Like,
you
how
don't
do
want
you
to be in
network?
it. Yeah. You can do all the networking and now of your own free will and volition.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We lost them.
No, I think he's gonna come back. Yeah, that is true. Being able to have a voice and everything.
Hello?
Hey, shout out to my good friend Jennifer
I
Joseph.
can't hear.
Jennifer, get well soon. Get well soon, my sister.
You can hear us? Me?
I can't hear.
Oh, huh. Log out and log back in to see if that works. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Just having an opportunity. Better?
Hello?
Can you hear us? We see you. Can you hear us
Can you
now?
hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear us? Okay, I think he's
Where's
having a
Andre
little.
at?
I think
Andre.
he's having a little technical difficulty. Oh, look at our fearless leader. He's on the phone with him. Okay.
Buttercup.
Hey,
Hey guys, what's going on? How you doing?
good, good. You just missed our guest. He's having a little technical difficulty, but hopefully he'll be back on shortly.
All right, so the breaking news, I'm literally.
Fearless leader, thanks for being here. Now you can take over for me. I got to run to do another
Oh,
Zoom.
Wait.
hey, can you hear us, Meek?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I don't know what's
Perfect,
going on with my phone there. So I apologize
perfect,
about that.
perfect. No. That's okay. That's okay. Um, Roderick.
Yes.
Oh,
Can you
look,
hear me?
John think he's slick. He had to leave. John had to leave. So, where you coming from, Roderick?
Right. Is it my phone that you're having difficulty, or is it just overall?
No. Our guest Meek was on, and I think overall just a little bit of technical difficulty, but he's back on.
Yeah.
Where are you coming from, Roderick? It's his phone. His phone too. So I don't know. There's something going on with the phones this evening.
They don't want us to be great tonight.
No,
Okay.
I wasn't there an issue with StreamYard today?
Yes, there was an issue with StreamYard. It was down.
I'm wondering if it is continuing, so causing
No,
issue.
it's your phone, my brother. It's your phone.
It's my phone,
It is. It is.
but I can hear y'all loud and clear, and you can hear me. So what is it that you're seeing?
Just you moving around. That's it. So, are you coming from a game?
Yeah. Look, King, say hello. Duke, say hello.
Okay.
Yeah, Duke
Yeah.
just won his game, playoff game.
So
Good.
he's coming from a game, and we're discussing with Mr. Meek this evening about mentorship, but also about business and everything, and the impact that sports play overall in the lives of so many young folks, but also adults as well. So there was some.
I think you failed to mention one very important part about sports. Um, when we talk about idle minds do idle things, I don't know if you said that earlier, but by creating activities for students and children to do, they keep their behinds out of trouble. Because, I give you an example, my son and his team, they're coming home right now. What is it, 8:15? So they had a good game, they played well, and they have no time to go out and act the fool. So my 13-year-old, same thing. They don't have no time. And my kids play tennis. You don't have the time. So not only does it keep you out of trouble, not only does it help you, but it also keeps you out of trouble. And most time, if you take it seriously, keep you safe.
Yeah, Meek mentioned that. Yeah, Meek mentioned that. But also, there was something that John has said that was at the end, and I wanted to add in regards to sports and redirection and mentoring, help keep others alive. So that is true, because the work that you do as a coach, as a mentor, as a business person, but also being a big brother or whatever in the community, keep young folks alive, because now they strive to be, to show you, hey, I can do it. To show you, hey, we could walk along that path.
1,000% true.
It's so important, that we have these different outlets, right? The different outlets and the different. I don't want to say access, but just the different.
Roger,
No,
focus.
I'm focused. But I'm driving, so it just seemed like something was happening. And
Oh Lord.
yeah,
You didn't hear that, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't hear that he's driving and he's on the camera.
Oh no! I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. I can tell you exactly what happened. A guy was trying to pick up a girl, and apparently she doesn't know him. And
So you
so,
get all that while you're busy. So you see what I have to deal with me? It
but
don't make
He
no
out,
sense.
he
no, but
observing. He looking. He listen. He from Brooklyn. He watching his surroundings.
yeah, that's exactly what happened because she was unhappy about the situation. So she was like walking away as. So I'm looking around. I want to make sure that you know safety happens. And she's all right.
Safety happened and you're driving and okay. All right. Okay, I digress.
By the way,
Okay.
you fail to realize that this is the district that I represent. So if something happens, I'm gonna hear about it. So I want to make sure that you know. So that's all. But anyway, going back to what we were talking about. I like the entrepreneurial component of sports as well. Um, and creating it, you take one thing and make it lead to another. That to me is also vital and crucial in the development of our youth and creating business as 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 a way to take care of your family, right? Which is the ultimate goal that we have. So I love what you're doing to me. I mean, it's just a great thing.
I appreciate that. Even though when we first met, we got off on the wrong foot because you started talking crazy. You started saying that Fort Green. I
No,
ain't forget.
well,
I ain't
we're
forget
not gonna.
that.
Well, hold on. We're not gonna talk about the fact that if I started training again, I get that little lefty up.
Oh,
Wax
well, come
that.
on,
I
man.
will wax. I will. I have no shame in my game. I will. What?
All right, now you got to do it now. Since you said it on camera, you got to do it now, man.
Oh, I gotta start. I told you I stopped playing. You know what? I'm gonna start training. We're gonna go at it. We're
All
gonna
right.
go at it, and we're gonna do it live because I'm a wax that.
Yo, listen, when I'm done with him, y'all not even gonna want me to come back on this show. You're gonna be like, nah, he can't come back on this show.
Now I want you back because at the end of the day, I want you to tell people how the old man, yo, he's just got a sweet game. Right? I'm gonna
Nah,
tell
but
people,
I
yeah,
definitely appreciate the invitation to come on your platform, and I definitely appreciate what y'all do. You're definitely good people. You're very transparent, good vibes. And it's hard to find individuals like that. So I'm definitely grateful for being a part of this tonight.
one of the things though that I would like to happen is that you and your organization, your company get opportunities to get into other schools and a whole bunch of schools. So whatever we can do to assist, whatever I can do to assist, we'll do that because you're providing. In all seriousness, I went to my alma mater today, right? I went to my 11 for a minute. When I walked in there, what's up, Mr. Daly? How you doing, Mr. Daly? They had like a Father's Day event,
Mm.
and so kids were supposed to bring their fathers or whatever, and because this is my district, I was invited. When I went there, people were like greeting me, and I'm like, oh, I was a student then. I was this, that, blah, blah. And the level of respect that they have and the growth that they have is invaluable. You get what I'm saying? So for you, what you're doing, you know, it's beyond that value, right? That you can't place anything on. So that's why whatever we can do to get you out there to create more visibility, especially as a young black man.
Yeah,
That's
I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, I think my thing is just to inspire, so if I can inspire one or two kids, I really feel good about myself. I know some people just not going to be receptive to it as just life, but we could get a couple and help them and guide them along the way, and also just expose them to for the kids that like sports. I'm in a position to expose them to professional basketball players. Growing up, I didn't have the privilege or opportunity to meet. I think that the first pro I met, and to be real, I probably was like a senior in high school when I really met like an actual NBA player. No, I'm lying. I'm lying. I was Omar Cook. I'm sorry about that. Omar Cook from my neighborhood. But like a lot of kids don't have the opportunity to meet, so I definitely like to put my guys in front of these kids so they could just see like, okay, it's obtainable, because it just seems like it's so far to reach. You just watch somebody play on television, but if you could actually see that person in real life and ask them a question, I think that does wonders for their, for their imagination to like for them to go out and chase their dreams.
That's true. That is true. Um, Tell us about the ceasefire walk, peace walk.
So the ceasefire peace walk, it was during the pandemic, and De Blasio still was in office, and it was around the time a 1-year-old kid was murdered in Bed-Stuy. He was shot in his head, and we went in the foundation. We paid for all his funeral arrangements. So it was just our way of just doing something to try to like unify the community and the police, right? Because the COVID was crazy just with COVID alone, and then the violence was rapid. A lot of kids was getting shot and killed. So that was just our way of just trying to close the gap, right? Because it is a major gap between the police department and our neighborhoods. So I orchestrated a ceasefire peace walk from Broadway Junction on Fulton Street all the way to Reservation and on Marcy and Fulton. So we walked that. Mayor De Blasio walked with us. Eric Adams was the Brooklyn Borough president at the time. He walked with us. The Brooklyn DA, Eric Gonzalez, walked with us. We had some celebrities out there, and then I think the most dope part about that, right? We was walking by a park, and it was a group of kids playing basketball, and we went in the park and grabbed them, and they walked with us. So that was so powerful to me. And I felt so proud of, and that probably like my first year home, post incarceration, and I did that. So I felt powerful, but I felt thankful to like be in that position to able to do something like that, and just to see young kids walk the hot sun with us. They was playing a game of basketball, and we literally went in the park and grabbed them, and they walked the ceasefire. So that was dope.
That's cool. That's cool. So eventually, that community advocacy will continue when we need you to start walking again with
I
our
know.
immigration policy, right?
Listen, no disrespect, but me in politics, I'm not really into politics. I don't like to call myself an activist. It's just somebody that's from the neighborhood, and I just know that it's needed. Because some kid gonna see me and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I could do that. I could be like him," right? Or somebody that was incarcerated, upon their release, they feel like, oh, they don't have no options, but they see somebody like me. Oh, there is a way, right? One of the guys, when I was incarcerated, it was a rapper from Brooklyn. I had a similar sentiment about. Mano, he came home. He was a felon, and he carved a career for himself. So he's just like one of many. But I want to be somebody like that when somebody, individual, come home, and then most of the time they coming back to our communities. It's not like he's coming home. He's going to live in the suburbs. Come home and be that change, right? So I just, I'm blessed to be in the position I am, and to be able to hopefully inspire others.
What does the phrase community is the core of development means to you in practical terms, especially when you're planning programs or initiatives?
Community is togetherness. Community is culture. So that is development, right? Yes, and when I say development, when you think about real estate development, you think about building infrastructures, but the community is the core of that, right? Because when you're building these infrastructures, who lives in these buildings, right? Is a group of people. A group of people is a community. So community should always be the core of development, and that was the phrase we came up, Taj Malik and myself, when we formed our real estate development firm, GFB Development. So we just felt like the community should always have a say, so what's going on in the community, right? Growing up, it's something that I didn't really pay attention to, but you see all these condominiums being built around NYCHA developments, right? And but none of the habitants of NYCHA they don't benefit from none of these amenities in these buildings. So that was, as I got older and I started to realize that that's a problem, because we've been here and we can't benefit. So it's like everybody's evolving around the community, but people in the community. So that's what I mean when I say community is development. Community should always have a say so what's going on in their neighborhood.
You're right. You're correct about that, because that's just started moving people out of those developments and taking it over.
And it's like I was speaking with a brother, and he was like, you know, we've been in poverty for so long that we start to defend poverty. So anything that's different, that's a change. People that live in poverty, a lot of the time they don't value it or they don't want it because they're just so used to being in that situation. That's trauma, right? And it is, and there's more added on the trauma is what I just mentioned. You have you coming out your building, you know, your project building. You see this big condominium, and you see people living life. You know, they have access to all these amenities, but you don't benefit from that. You know, so we wanted to change that. We wanted to change that dynamic, and we started our company, and we partnered with a local developer company called Alloy. They named Alloy Development. Alloy does a lot of work in the Dumbo area, downtown Brooklyn. They've been doing this for about 2 decades. So they've well equipped in the space of development, real estate development, and we working with them. We formed a JV to bring mixed income and a free community center to Fort Greene, well, to Fort Greene and Farragut. And it's just surreal because the space that we intend on rezoning is a space that I went to as a kid, the Boys and Girls Club. I used to spend a lot of days after school, a lot of days on the weekend in there working on my jump shot, right? You know, dribbling, playing in the church league with Saint in the Boys and Girls Club. So now, as I'm a grown man and I'm part of the redevelopment of that, like I'm blessed. I can't even lie.
That's dope.
So, what type of housing you guys trying to develop
So
or
we
have
so
developed?
So the intent is to build a mixed income, a mixed use building. Um, you know, a lot of people is misinformed. You know, when they have affordable housing, you need some type of economic engine to maintain that. So that's why the market rate apartments help cover whatever depth. Like if somebody's getting low income, somebody got who's paying the other half. So people that's paying market rate is picking up the
The heavy half.
balance, right? In our situation, so we want to build a mixed use building, but on the ground level, we want to rebuild a community facility, right? So this facility is going to be free to the community, but once again, you need an economic engine to fund it so it can run, right? So that's why we need a mix. You know, that's why we came up with the plan to build a mixed use building on top of the community center. So that's what we're doing right now. But so the space, we have to go through the ULUP process, which is the rezoning process. So right now, we still in the community engagement stage of that process. So like working with the community stakeholders in our area and bringing them to the table and getting a input on what programs or what kind of structure, green spaces would they like to see for this development. So that's like where we at right now in the project. But sometime next year, I believe we're going to submit an application to ULUP to begin the rezoning process.
You're muted, Roderick.
So I gotta close out of this. All right. So well, I understand all of that ULIP process and everything else that need to get done. So and John asked a question about what are you trying to build. So tell us about the units. Tell us about like you speak of affordability and all that, you know, buzzwords. But tell us your concept of affordability, who you
So
plan to build,
affordability
how
would
long
be
will it,
maybe, and
all of
this
these
is
projects. What are we
this
looking
is
at timeline and
so the
everything else?
AMI determines like what's affordable, right?
You're muted.
So
I can't hear
yeah,
you. Oh,
No, you're muted.
the AMI determines like what's affordable,
The
right? So
average medium
obviously
income.
yeah, exactly. So the goal is to get, I think the lowest is 40%, 40, 60, and 80%. So in any building, I believe 25% of the units have to be affordable, right? But once again, I go back and what the work of Alloy, their last project was 505 State Street. So that's downtown Brooklyn, right across from the Apple Store and Flappers Extension. And
Okay,
so
yeah, I know that area.
yeah, so prior to us going in a partnership, they gave us a tour of their work. And what's so dope is the affordable apartments look just like the apartments that's market rate. The same appliances, structure, everything. So somebody that's living in an affordable apartment in our project, you're not going to feel no different from somebody who's paying the market rate. And I think that's the beautiful thing, because you have something that you can love. But more importantly, going back to community, we want to build a building that just speaks community, right? We don't want to have people separated by their socioeconomic status, right? We want people that it doesn't matter how much money you make, right? That you feel like you included, so that's our goal. And that's the community part of us mixed with the development side, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, go back to one of my other questions, which was a timeline. Do you have a timeline?
So right now we're just in the community engagement phase. We're like getting input from the community leaders, stakeholders. We had two visionary workshops with the community just to show them the process of development, right? Because like I said, a lot of us is misinformed. And then we also just recently had a real estate mixer, where just to teach people from the community about real estate, connect them with different aspects of real estate, right? Because like I said, that's not something that we're taught growing up, right? And we're not taught the importance of it. But the timeline, we're still in that phase to like really get the input of the community, and then the next phase will be for us to submit the application, which may be sometime next year. And then once that, I would say maybe like a wishful thinking, I will say a year and a half, we'll be able to get through that process and hopefully get approved, and then we'll start the pre-construction shortly after that.
Well, with the ULIP process, you need to put in your 30-day notice to
Yeah,
get done. So I would suggest that if you want, you know, that process is, once you're doing the walkthrough and people can understand what you're doing, you speak generally to the land use committee.
yeah,
Once you get to the land use committee and have that conversation, um, over there, I don't remember what community board is over there in Fort Greene, but
community board too.
community board too. So you talk
Yeah,
to, speaking with the chair and
yeah,
land use to inform them. The process itself should not uh, take that long, but I would suggest, my suggestion would be, you speak a lot about the community, and community engagement, which is important. You are gonna, there will be some issues with just
always,
just looking at AMI. For
always.
my experiences as a chair of my board, um, because there's a major concern that, with the way things are going, uh, affordable is not really truly
I
affordable.
feel over. Yeah.
So, and that's why I asked the question that I was asking, about the units, and you know,
Yeah, exactly. I knew where you was going with that, because that's somewhat true. Like affordable isn't really affordable. You're not really going off with what people are making in that area. So, I think but I think a lot of times, um, people are misinformed, and they feel like they don't understand like certain things come from the city and have nothing to do with a developer. We don't create the AMIs and certain rules and regulations, and people just think developers create. No, they don't create that. That comes from the city and the state. They have nothing. We don't have nothing to do with that. We can like for instance, the community, they want preference, right? They want to, when this project go up, they want preference of Ingersoll, Farragut, or Whitman, right? But that's not up to us. We don't determine that. We can advocate for that, just we can advocate, but that doesn't mean we're going to get it. So
yeah,
yeah,
it goes. Yeah, a lot of times that creates a problem because a lot of people don't know that it goes through like a lottery system,
yeah,
and the AMI. The problem with the AMI, which I'm asking, I've been advocating strongly, is that you're going to compare you're going to include people who make in Manhattan, people who live in like Scarsdale or upstate parts of upstate, and make that part of the AMI for a person in Brooklyn that's making 40,000-50,000, and sometimes even less, because in Brooklyn we have one of the highest welfare state, right? Brooklyn, Queens, you have one of the highest welfare state, and so when you compare these rich people and you make the salary part of the AMI, and then so somebody who's making $30,000-$40,000 a year doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It's like as a teacher, as a para, as a safety agent, you need affordable housing, even though you might be making $70,000-$80,000 a year because you really can't pay rent.
You're right. Absolutely right. It's a as I'm learning as we go, because I really got thrown into it. I wouldn't say it was a traditional way of getting into in development, but I'm grateful for it because Alloy, for the most part, what you see is what you get. They're good guys, and they're really like helping us learn the basics with development. And I think it's a great partnership because they are guys are willing to learn about us. Like they're open to trying to understand what it is to live in our conditions. They didn't grow up in our conditions, so they have no clue. But I think the fact that they're willing to learn and be inclusive is key. I never seen no development company do the level of community engagement that these guys have done to date because they really want to understand what it is and like really help our community. So like I commend them guys. They're good guys, and I'm not just saying that because we're partners, because we value how we're looked in our community. Through the foundation, we haven't received one grant from the state or the city. Everything we ever did for our neighborhood was out of Taj pockets, right? Some would say that was not smart, right? But it just shows the level of how much we really care because he's really putting your money where his mouth is. So like to say like we value, so we won't ever, sell out our neighborhood for $1 because we've been doing it just for the love so many years, right? But these guys are good guys because they really want to understand who we are,
Taj retired, right? If I
Not yet. You putting that on him? Oh man.
thought he did that. Where is he now?
Nah, he just finished a year in Charlotte. It was like he was retired because they wasn't too good. But
Yeah, because he was in New York for a little bit, and then
yeah,
last couple of years they've been
Thibodeau was a very a fan and supportive of Taj.
1,000%, 1,000%. Taj and Thibodeau. Thibodeau's like a father figure to Taj. Taj is one of Thibodeau's guys, hard nosed, gonna come to work every day. And something Thibodeau told Taj early in his career, what a lot of guys don't pay attention to is just be a star in your role. If your role is to rebound, set screens, block shots, be a star in your role. Be consistent. It's when and Taj Tibbs told him that, and he lived by that to this day. He just whatever role the role that coach gave him, he's going to be a star in that role. And that's why, Taj is blessed to be able to say he's been in the NBA for so long.
Yeah, it's about 15 years, right?
16 years.
Yeah, about 15 years.
Yeah, man. And then, next year, I think he want to do one more year. So, hopefully he gets that call. But right now, he's at the NBPA top 100 camp. So he's coaching at the camp. And so it's the top 100 players in the country, like high school players.
Yeah,
So he's there right now, coaching right now.
Yeah, when I was in my days, it was In the Zone with Bobby Hurley.
Oh, that's what it was called, In the Zone with Bobby Hurley?
Well, Bobby Hurley had, I don't know if you know Bobby Hurley, who Bobby Hurley is.
Yeah, I know Bobby Hurley, yeah.
So he had a camp with just similar to the top 100.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I met Rasheed Wallace, Kobe Bryant, and those guys in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
Jamal Griffith, Jamal is actually from Brownsville. So he went to Syracuse, played ball there, and a few others came down to the camp, and so you have coaches, like college ball players would coach them and coach it's like, what do you call it? Showcase.
Showcase, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I met Kobe I didn't know who the hell Kobe was, but he was there.
Yeah.
So Rasheed going coast to coast, man. I was like, damn, kid. Straight out of high school. And then then he went on to North Carolina, and then history from there.
History from there. World champion.
Yeah. So I'm so glad. I'm excited to know that Taj is coming back, giving back to his community. But I would suggest though that there are a lot of opportunities to raise money, right? To, auctions.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Galas, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Get an opportunity to meet. And I'm sure he has a couple of friends in the NBA that be willing to highlight something that he is doing to come out to an event. I mean, I went to an event for my college years ago, and Mark Jackson was the keynote speaker.
Mm.
I also went to something with Allen Houston and a few other celebs, basketball or other sports, right? And so if Taj has his foundation, he could get a lot of support. Signature basketball, things like that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Right, so everything doesn't have to
come out of his pocket.
And be
on. You're absolutely right.
So
absolutely right.
Those are some suggestions. This is cool. I would love to be able to come to an event, see what's happening, being able to participate and support.
Actually, I don't mean to cut you off. So, see, now you said that. Now I'm about to put you in the hot seat. Next week. So next week we're having a sports clinic in Saddle River, New Jersey. It's a 2-day clinic. So I have like 4 NBA players coming. So if you're available, I'd love for you to come.
What
I think is the 21st or the 22nd of next week.
That's next week. Is 22nd is Sunday. I could answer that question. I know I definitely can't come for 2 days, but
just come, just pop in. We have a clinic, got some coaches, got some NBA players come in to come, work out with the kids, take some pictures, eat with them, break bread with them. I believe Dr. Brian, you coming, right?
I'm coming.
The 21st, right?
Jalen.
The 21st or the 22nd, either day.
Come the 21st. I can't come.
Yeah. Just come, man. Pull up.
So
I can see that broke jump shot.
No,
see how I reeled you in? See how I reeled you in?
I told you I don't play ball no more. I have to start practicing.
I practice, bro. You got a week.
A weekend. I haven't played ball since August of 2019.
I understand. I remember you told me that, but you got a week. You got a week. I see how I roped you in.
Yep, that mouth, right?
Yeah, we gonna see.
I already not shoot. I tried to hit a layup outside my backyard. I couldn't even do that.
Oh yeah, it's over. It's over. Yeah, it's over. It's over, man.
You see that? I remember when I'm telling you,
You told somebody to put that in there, man.
I did not. But I told people like every time I said to somebody like I beat Sebastian Telfair 1-on-1, they look at me like, you beat who? Right? I'm like, I beat Sebastian. I beat Kobe. Right? Yeah, my son yelling in the background. No, I didn't. All right.
Yeah, see, look, that's crazy. Little man blowing you up.
Yo, let me tell you something. I was playing against Kobe Bryant in '95, right? And because there's in the Philadelphia area where we all, I went to college and he went to high school area. Yo, he went up for a layup and straight up bridged him.
You bridged Kobe?
Bridged him.
Oh nah, yeah, you can't come on the court, bro. You bridged Kobe.
Look at me. I had to reach back like this with my arm behind me, so you don't fall. It's funny. I was telling the story, right? I thought Kobe's cousin Joe was better than him. I actually thought that.
I don't know. Yeah, I never seen. I gotta see the footage. I don't know. I ain't seen that.
I'm saying that I thought he was better.
Yeah.
But I think like sometimes I tell athletes, sometimes even though you're good, if you don't have that connect and you're not listening like this, you lose out a lot. Because I could tell you straight up front, Kobe Bryant was not the best basketball player that I've ever played against. He's not. The one I played against, the best basketball player I've ever played against, his senior year, he got arrested for hijacking a car.
Mm.
So he's lost.
I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like
I
sometimes.
believe that. I believe no. I trust. You know why? I don't mean to cut you off. So it's so many guys. I ain't meet nobody as talented as that, but there's a lot of guys that's in prison. And I spent a lot of my lot of in prison. I played basketball out of 10 years, 7 years. So I was just playing basketball. That really helped me like beat depression, and I was, that was like that was for me to get away. When I needed to get away, and I really physically couldn't get away, I would go and play basketball. But I seen a lot of guys with a lot of talent in prison, man, and
Yeah,
it's just like was one wrong mistake just landed them in prison. And
yeah.
like if they, would have stayed on the right path, they could have been Kobe Bryant.
That,
They
that,
could have
that-
been Tracy McGrady. It's
that's it.
crazy.
Yeah, there's a guy. I think he did get a second chance from way back in the early 2000, late 90 from LIU. That with a sexual charge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he's from what's his name? I think he's from like Harlem. I know you're talking about. I forgot
Yeah,
his name.
and then LIU gave him a chance, and he got drafted.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he didn't last long in the NBA, but that like I'm saying, like these opportunities. I have another friend right now. Well, he's old now. Um, he would go all the way right until the physical
Mm,
because he has slight sclerosis. So they like
yeah.
every time. But he won slam ball. He was he was obscene. But again, he had sclerosis, so he couldn't. The NBA wouldn't even take a look at him.
Mm,
So as soon as he would try out, they would be impressed. Physical, gone. So it happens, But I'm glad, like Taj is like, and you are like, let's what does this look like for other people, right? For me, even with my kids, it's I want to get you to college, right? How do I get you to college? Like that full ride to get to D2, D1, so that you can do something, right? Whether you want to play in Europe, whether you want to do something, or come out and get a quality education. Now you 100% can get a master's,
yeah.
right? Because it's 5 years now. They actually give you 5 years, and if you go to a JUCO don't count anymore.
No count. Yeah. So you could get a degree and make money.
Yep.
So that's like
And now you have what NIL, right? So
NIL. Yeah.
So what Taj is doing and what you're doing is remarkable, right? I think when you and I spoke, the one thing that I'm disappointed with is that a lot of our great New York City athletes
Mm-hmm.
are not recognized as New York City athletes.
Yeah.
They got to spend a 13th year because academically it's just about balls, so they're not able to go D1 or even D2 because they're just academically behind. So they have to do that 13th year, and that 13th year school is the one that gets the credit for those kids, even
All the
though
time.
South Shore High School is one of the places there where I was back in the 90s. I don't know how far back but Terrence Samuels, who went to UConn.
Okay.
I went to South Shore, and then they kind of had to do that extension, right? He got a full ride to UConn. They won the national championship in 2013, right? I think if that's the year, whenever around there. But but the point I'm making is like a lot of these schools, they don't get the credit for what they do with sports.
That's
So
true.
Right. It's yeah. That's been a thing for like I get obviously since you was playing coming up because kids like Taj is one of them. Taj, a lot of people didn't even know he was from Brooklyn.
that's the point, right?
Yeah, because like some
didn't
people didn't know, because he didn't play he played high school ball in California, so he went out to preparatory school. He played 1 year, I believe, out in New York with high school, and then he went out to LA. So he spent most of when he became a known name, he was in LA. So a lot of people associate LA with him, but like nah, he's from Fort Greene,
That's the point I'm trying to make. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
the name I mentioned to you before, Jabal Griffith, who actually got a full ride to Syracuse, was actually a Brooklyn boy, right? He went to, I forgot the name of the high school in Brooklyn, but then he had to go away. And then all of a sudden, that school got the credit for Jabal Griffith getting a D1 ride to Syracuse. I mean, when I'm growing up, I'm talking about, we had Tilden High School that was very good. Tilden, South Shore, and Abraham Lincoln. You know, with the guys. You know, I would love to see Taj do, like I was talking about the ITZ, in the zone. Maybe you could do, you could do that through his foundation, through the real estate, sponsor like, at the top 100 athletes in the New York City area. I'll tell you right now, all the athletes, they got shoes, and they got the shoes, the uniform, and a book bag. If I remember, this is 30 something years ago. So I'm trying to remember what happened. So to get an opportunity, if you get Nike to sponsor it, get another leaders or somebody to assist with the sponsorship. What are they going to do for these kids who are coming out? And then do the top 100 right in the New York City area. You're not just New York City. You have New York City.
That's kind of a good. That's a good idea.
Not
real. Seriously, I never even thought about that. Yeah, you might have to talk about that.
Yeah, name it after himself or whatever. Your real estate, put your name on it, put a stamp on it, so people know. Hey, I'm not joking when I say I'm giving back to the community. Right, I'm serious about it, and this is a way that I'm showing my support. Because these kids need that. 2 weekends, 3 weekends over the summer, they're good to go.
Yeah.
Colleges look at them, take a different look. You have the mentorship side of it, where you talk to the parents. Like, I always use my son as an example. We went to something called All Ripken, right? And I think he was 11 at the time. And they had a former professional baseball player who won the World Series, sat down with the kids, and had the conversation. Right. So when I did my basketball camp, I kind of did the same thing, sat them down, had the mentorship component. And with the young men, as older men, I would talk about good health and what is like, safe health, safety life. So we talk about that mentorship type. So that's something that Taj could do, and I guarantee he'll be successful. Make that connect with the colleges, the D1 school, D2 schools. He has a name. He has a brand.
You know what? Just because you gave me that idea, I'm gonna take it easy on you now. I'm gonna take it easy on you now, just because that's a great idea though. I like that.
Yeah,
I do though, bro. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, we leaving you out. I'm sorry.
No, because we're coming to an end. How can people reach you? If they want to reach your foundation,
if you want to reach me personally, I only have one form of social media, which is Instagram. My Instagram is Meek Script, MEEKS _script. If you want to see our work with the foundation name is Taj Gibson Foundation, www.tajgibsonfoundation.com. If you're interested, in being in the sports industry, you want to see the work that I do there. My company is 3 Keys, and the website is www.THREEK3YS.com. And our development, I know I'm running on. And
Andre, are you able to capture all of that?
Yeah, I'm it's a lot. But
you can continue.
And lastly, our real estate development company, which is www.gfbdevelop.com. So that's all the work that I'm doing. And once again, like, I'm grateful and appreciate y'all having me on the platform. We kicked it. I'll definitely come back, when y'all have me. And thank you for your time.
You have my card, right? So you have my number.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I do, or I may have.
Well, you can get
these are all correct.
Taj, TAJ.
Todd Gibson.
Not Todd. Taj.
Yeah, Taj, TAJ. Yeah, like Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I could just get your number from Dr. Brian, if anything.
Yeah. So I'll see you on Saturday. So just let me know, send the invite, and I'll probably see if I could drag Dr. Brian to come.
Listen, man, don't
No S, Andre.
come. Listen, don't get on the call if you're not ready. I don't want to.
I'm not going on
I'm
the
gonna
call.
record it and I'll share it.
And I got
next week.
I got a
Okay.
cameraman that's gonna be there, so he gonna have the footage. So don't come prepared, brother.
I'm not even bringing sneakers. I'm bringing my son.
All right, cool. I respect that.
Because I'm not playing no. You're not gonna embarrass me until I start. So you can come back on the program going, yo, he's garbage. Nah, that ain't gonna
I respect that. I'll catch you next summer, man. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Once again, it was a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on.
Looking forward to seeing you next week, and looking forward to having you back on and everything else. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You have a good night.
All right, you too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, viewing, sharing, and most of all, subscribing to our YouTube station, the Village Radio Talk Show. I'm Roger Daly. I am your host. We have Dr. John Bryan, our hostess. We have Dr. John L. Sampson, our co-host. Thank you to our guests, Tameek, and thank you to our executive producer, Andre Dolman, and our producer, Sophia Willissey. We'll see you next time, and happy birthday to my son, Grayson, who turned 12 this week, to Dr. Brian.
Happy Father's Day.
Grayson turned 13 this week. Dr. Bryant's birthday is on Sunday, right? So that's really exciting on Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And next week is John's birthday too. John's birthday is next Tuesday, right? And so a lot of
Geminis.
I hate the Geminis, but
anyway.
But they're better than the Cancer. So that's much better.
Be careful, Roger. Be careful. Your wife is a Cancer, okay?
Oh, crap.
Be careful. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. And Jalen, hopefully we can hang out this weekend. All right. So I hope we can hang out this weekend. God bless. Enjoy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.